Also, the federal government is being called upon to implement the 5% employment quota provided for in the Disability Act. As Executive Director, Inclusive Friends Association, Grace Jerry, made the call on the third cohort fellowship on gender and disability-based violence held on Wednesday in Abuja. Malakaduru has more the story.
The Inclusive Friends Association on Gender and Disability-Based Violence on Wednesday organized the third cohort fellowship program of the Amplifying Voice project. The executive director, Inclusive Friends Association, Grace Jerry, stated that the implementation of the employment quota and putting all poverty alleviation measures in place will reduce the vulnerability of persons with disabilities to disability-based violence, adding that it will give the victims the means to seek justice when the need arises.
Previous engagement with persons with disabilities, we came to the realization that discrimination, stigma, and stereotypes play a significant role in building the silence culture among survivors of various forms of violence. The phrase disability-based violence was coined during the training because it became evident that lumping issues of persons with disabilities alongside general issues like gender-based violence would not give room for mainstreaming of solution and intervention.
Also speaking, the Amplifying Voice facilitator, Frederick Andrew, noted that the persons with disabilities should be enlightened on what disability-based violence is.
Persons with disabilities, their family members and caregivers should be enlightened on what disability-based violence is. Government should strengthen social protection systems and mainstream such programs to cater for the needs of persons with disabilities. Government should also implement the 5% employment quota provided for in the Disability Act. Putting these and other poverty alleviation measures in place will reduce the vulnerability of persons with disabilities to disability-based violence and give them the means to seek for justice when the need arises.
While presenting the key findings made during the survey done after the first and second cohort fellowship, Program Director Olawumi Okukwe stated that many persons with disabilities have violated the fundamental human rights of the survivor contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Cases where family members lock up persons with disabilities in isolation or forcefully marry them off, deprive them education or other basic amenities are not just wrong, but are a violation of fundamental human rights of the survivor as contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The reluctancy of police officers to hear complaints or carry out thorough investigations on reports made by persons with disabilities make it impossible for survivors to seek for and get justice.
The advocate education should be made free for persons with disabilities. Also, capacity of law enforcement agencies should be built on disabilities issues with a view to eradicate attitudinal, physical, and systematic barriers that persons with disabilities face when trying to access services.